Hi, I'm Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Mack. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining during this time where it seems like everywhere you turn, up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. We are living through the inversion being corrected. And yet, I don't know about you, but and I've said this so many times on this podcast, I don't even know how to say it anymore. I'm just going to be real open with you. It just seems like the most bizarre, sometimes energy draining time. And, you know, we all come from different paths. We all have different backgrounds and perspectives. We all have different paradigms, worldviews, and I would even say boxes that we've come from, lived in, and possibly still live in. And yet, regardless of all the screaming to be believed in narratives from religion, politics, the truth community, liberalism, conservatism, spirituality, whatever it is, whatever is screaming out for you to believe in the laid out narrative that they want you to fall so neatly into and under, regardless of all of that, you, my dear brother and sister, and I get to be very clear in that truth exists beyond, outside of, before, and after all that screams for our attention. And the truth is, how do you know what the truth is? Do you think, see, if you have a worldview that there is a God, a loving God, benevolent, good, always giving the highest good, which is why you could look at a verse like Romans 8:28 that says, and we know all things work together for good to them who love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. It doesn't mean that just because if you love God, all things work together for good. It means if you know that God is good and loving and benevolent and giving the highest good, that means that you know all things work together for good. But if you don't know God, or the concept of God, or God being bigger, beyond, further, outside of, the creator, the beginning, the origin of all that is, still all things work together for good. Now, you might not know that inside. And why I bring this up is because there are so many things that are screaming for our attention to get us to question our own truth. And how do we know if something's true or not? It's whether we can breathe more deeply. So that good, loving, benevolent God, creator God, gave us this body, and our body keeps the score. It's a great book. If you have not read it, The Body Keeps the Score. But this body tells us where we're holding on to things that are not true. See, truth keeps us, lies keep us in bondage. Truth makes us free. Truth makes us free. Well, how do you know if something's true or not? You can breathe more deeply. If it's not true, it constricts. It constricts your breath. It constricts your body, makes you tight. So many people are walking around tight. But truth makes us free. Now, are there truths in all the things that cry out for your attention? Yes, certainly. Particular truths. But universal truth, that is beyond all. That can only be found with you and God. You and you within, you and God without, within. You see, if I told you this is the way, or that is the way, or this is the way, then I become just another voice giving you a predefined narrative to fall under or fall into. But that is not what we are here for. Some may be here to fall under someone else's narrative and say that narrative of origin of that person, when they came up with that, that's who I want to fall under and believe fully. Fine. That might be many people. I don't believe it's you. I believe those that listen to this message are here for something greater, that know there's something more. And it cannot just be defined in characters on a screen or words or this keyboard, the alphabet, the English language. There is something more, greater, powerful, more true, more beautiful, more good than whatever the system, that whatever it is, can provide. Whatever countries and banners and flags and symbols and codes and secrecies and whatever, all of it is just noise. All of it is noise, my dear brother and sister, all of it. If it constricts or distracts you from your own deep breath, sense of knowing your own reality, your own experience of God, your own point of view, your own observation of this present time. You don't have to live under another's prescribed narrative. And certainly that means all the momentum of narratives that have existed for eons of time, you still get to discover outside of it all, through it all, in it all, under it all, over it all, around it all, for you. It's almost as if this game that we find ourselves in is to, when I talk about sovereignty, I talk about when you say yes, it is yes. And when you say no, it's no. This game is to distract us from what you know to be true and what you know. And guess what? Many of us don't know, and that's okay. I don't know. I am not there first person, so I can't say that is the truth. There are so many things that seem to be true on the surface, but they're completely the opposite in reality. And I don't know, and neither do you. But when you hook into the belief of these systems and these narratives crying out for you to believe in them, it leads you down a path that if I would ask you, if I showed you the end of that path and said, hey, do you want to experience that? Most people would say no. But then I'd say, then why are you following this belief structure? Why are you tying your energy, your precious energy, your divine energy into these prescribed narratives that are leading you down a path of destruction? And what is it destroying? It's destroying your joy, your peace, your sovereignty. It's destroying your sleep. It's destroying, I don't know what else it's destroying, but it's destroying it. And for me, religion is a really tough, prescribed narrative to surrender. It's tough for me to surrender it. I know it so well. I know the judgment of others if you leave it. I know the fear-based narrative. I know all of it. And yet, God, do you exist beyond all the fear? That's really what I'm here to discover. And I know he does. I know God exists beyond the fear. And I want all of us to know God that exists beyond the fear, that exists beyond the lies and the false light and the billboards and the advertisements and the the constant algorithms that keep us enslaved to a system that gives us nothing but takes from us everything. That is not love. That is a system of lust and destruction. I used to say this, that where there is love, where there is love, there will be no lust. Where there is lust, there can be no love. Because lust takes, love gives. And those two cannot be in the same container at the same time. There is a truth outside all this narrative. And all I'm saying in this podcast, and I'm going to wrap it here, is that my invitation for all of you is to find it. And to know you're not alone in your journey of finding it. And whatever you conclude at the end of this journey, if we wrote it down in finite detail, will not look like anyone else's finite detail, mine or another's. And that's what's so beautiful. It's for when we take our finite detailed experience and observation of this journey and share it with each other, we help fill in the gaps, the missing pieces of this experience, and it becomes beautiful, truly beautiful. The God beyond all fear, outside this conditional, loving, false narrative. That is where you'll find me searching, find me exploring. And my invitation is for you to do the same. Brothers and sisters, I love you all. I bless you on your journey of truth, beauty, and goodness. I am Lucas Mack. This is the Golden Rule Revolution, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.